It's nothing short of a massacre, a deliberate massacre, war crimes committed daily. But now there's a deliberate shelling and bombing and destruction of whole areas, of residential areas. And not only do they shell people's homes and kill them in cold blood, as they're leaving, as they're running away, they're being shelled and bombed and killed. And as if any ambulance tries to get there, to get the people, the ambulances themselves are being shelled and the medical personnel are being targeted. Israel is deliberately destroying lives. It is deliberately targeting Palestinian civilians. And I just can't understand how people sit back and say self-defense. I just can't take the language. I can't take the propaganda. I can't take the mantra that Israel has the right to defend itself. Against whom? Against innocent civilians? Against the more than 80 children?
You know, it is so unreal when Hamas for years has been targeting Israelis. I don't know how many times Hanan Ashrawi has spoken out against that. As Israelis have been targeted for death, Israeli citizens, civilians targeted for death by Hamas terrorists. And when Hamas terrorists put their own people at risk by firing at Israelis. And one reason there are as many casualties as there are among the Israeli army, some of their elite units lost several dozen people now total. The reason for that is because of Israel constantly trying to preserve life, whereas Hamas shoots at Israelis from residential areas to try to kill Israeli soldiers and civilians. And when Israel tries to defend itself and fight back, the civilian casualties are now called war crimes. That's why we must get the truth out. Please remember, in the news, when you hear accounts of the Israeli military targeting civilians, when you hear accounts of the Israeli military intentionally killing children, those reports are false. They are false. And more of my colleagues are finding they're interacting with people on social media, and the people on social media, Muslims sympathetic to Hamas and others sympathetic to Hamas, are giving reports as if they're eyewitness reports that end up being false. Are there civilian casualties? Yes. Who's to blame? Hamas, for many, many reasons. But listen to this. End of last hour, I played a clip from Hanan Ashrawi, a PLO spokeswoman. I want to play one more clip, and it is clip number 3. This is from 4 days ago on ABC News, as she is accusing Israel of engaging in deliberate massacre. And as I will look into it and find out from the horse's mouth, okay, from the IDF, from their blog, what actually happened, and warnings given, and attempts to let civilians get out, and giving advance notice before they target an area, as Hamas fires upon Israelis. These are they not human beings also when Israelis are being fired on and Hamas is intentionally doing it from residential areas? Are not Israelis human beings also? Are they just supposed to forget about it, let their people be slaughtered? You know, there are a couple of funerals for IDF soldiers that had no families, young men that were killed, and they had 20,000 or more attending, 10, 20,000 or higher, attending the funerals, people from Israel coming to mourn because there was no family there to mourn. Let us play clip number 3.
Let's put things in context. It's very disingenuous to say that no nation will accept being shelled by rockets or rockets raining in. This is self-defense. It's the other way around. It's exactly the other way around. No nation can accept being imprisoned, being besieged by land, by air, by sea, and being starved and deprived of the most basic requirements of a decent life, freedom of movement, clean water. 90% of the water in Gaza is not fit for drinking. They don't have medical supplies. For 7 years, they have been not just under Israeli occupation, but under a brutal and lethal Israeli siege. And then you come in and you shell them, and you bomb them, and you destroy homes, you destroy whole neighborhoods, you obliterate, annihilate whole families, and then you come and say this is self-defense, and no nation on earth will accept having these rockets. No nation on earth can accept to be treated like not just prisoners, but helpless, defenseless cannon fodder.
Helpless, defensive cannon fodder. All the policies, all the difficulties, because of radical Islamic leadership that is not doing the best for the citizens. Look, Hamas, here's their first talking point. We want the destruction of Israel. That is the problem. We'll be right back.